Jim Zecca, who's back in the fray. Good morning, James. Thanks for coming on.
Morning, Bill. That was a pretty sad story there.
It's just sad and shocking and alarming and just all at the same time on so many different levels. So can you pick up and not be on speakerphone, because I have a tough time hearing you on the speakerphone.
Okay, how are we doing now?
Good.
Getting the dogs in here.
All right. Good. Very important to do that. There's probably an app for that if you want to look into it.
Jim, I'll walk the dogs for $40 a day, but I'm not cleaning up after them.
All right,
There we
so
go.
here last night you guys pulled off a press conference. What do you have, and I noticed in the OD story that I read this morning, you cited gave some technical advice that there should have been slots or maybe holes drilled into those Jersey barriers that would have allowed the water to escape as opposed to keeping it in canal fashion like it did during the flooding. Have you done any research on that that's how it should be done?
I've been talking to a number of folks. You know, I deal with engineers and construction folks on a daily basis through work. And I explained to them what went on there, and a lot of people are astonished. And a lot of folks have said to me that there usually is some sort of opening on the bottom of those Jersey barriers, or there's no Jersey barriers like that are solid. If you go drive down the Arterial today and take a look for yourself, you'll see it's a solid wall between the two lanes now. And there was no place for the water to go, and you could see. One side was completely filled up, and the other side was just a sheet of water. And the water was going over the top of it just like a dam. It looked like a dam.
Yeah.
And, so our suggestion is at least to get some slots put into it to equalize both sides, because what was happening was that water, and, I know the folks from DOT have told you that, this is unusual, but there's been a lot of flooding in that area. There's always has been. When I was councilman in West Utica, we always had problems in that area. We tried to bring this up, and now that the construction's over with, I think it's just added to the problem even further. And the people in the neighborhoods, that's where this all started.
Yeah.
The two council candidates that are running in West Utica in the 1st District and 2nd District, Alan Thayer and Lou Poccia, talked to a lot of folks, and that was a big complaint. This issue has not been addressed in those neighborhoods.
Well, Jim Piccola, we certainly had on, and we asked what I thought we asked some tough questions on the topic. Jim
did.
Told us that they felt that everything worked properly, that it drained. That this was just such an intense storm; it came down so quickly, and that Nail Creek in the back there. That's what needs to have. They've got to drag that out and really dig it out, so that would have probably prevented that flooding from down there. You don't buy that?
No. I think Nail Creek is a problem. It's underground. It's underneath the Arterial, and it's over by where Carl's Furniture used to be. I was trying to think. It's a rental place now, but that's when we were talking about years ago removing the railroad tracks along there, we almost fell through the railroad track ties into Nail Creek.
Right.
So we know exactly where it is. But he did say, if you remember, and a lot of people didn't hear that, he said that median where it is now, it ends just before it gets to right near Utica Cutlery. And he said they were not going to extend that.
Yeah.
I believe they said either to Noyes or they were going to extend it to Oswego Street.
He told us
they're not going to do that.
He told us that they decided after the flooding, they decided not to pursue that. But we did get in a very short period of time about 7 inches of rain. I mean, when you think about it, if you take that 7 inches of rain, this is something that is worth just at least considering when we're thinking about the crazy weather we've been having. If you take that 7 inches of rain, what would can somebody look up for me? An inch of rain equals how much snow? And it varies depending on the density and the temperature.
Yeah.
But think about that, and let's not forget that just a couple of months ago we had 4 feet of snow or 3.5 feet of snow, and so 2 big storms just a couple of months apart and bringing huge precipitation.
So 1 inch of rain equals approximately 10 inches of snow.
Well, think about that.
See, that's why I have here It's 13.
But again, I understand that this storm was very, it was extremely large. I mean, an amount of rain in a short period of time. But this has been an ongoing problem, and it's only exacerbated, I think, by this effort with putting that solid wall without, having some way to equalize that water on both sides of the arterial. And again, even on the other side of the arterial, they're having problems that they never had. In my old neighborhood, they're having problems with flooding now, which they haven't had before. So that really, it does have to be addressed. It just can't be ignored and just say it was one large storm. It's an ongoing problem. It has been an ongoing problem. The funny thing is, after the news article, I had a call from a person that I had talked to in South Utica that called me and said there was an article in it was an old article. You know how they're doing the throwback articles in the OD?
Yeah.
It was in the past couple of weeks. They were talking about that general area and politicians standing in knee-high water in 1949.
Wow.
So apparently there's been a problem in that general area, and that was before the arterial was even built.
The more things change, the more they stay the same. And look who's running for Common Council. It's Jim Zecca, ladies and gentlemen. Wild.
And
all
large.
All right, Jim. And I think we had, and he's gone now, we lost him. We had your comrade there, Mr. Poccia.
Lou.
Poccia.
Yeah, Lou was there, and so was Alan there. They're getting a lot of calls and a lot of people complaining about not being heard. There's been a lot of damage in that area. Those folks are just. And
you don't think that you don't think the DOT is addressing this, and you don't think that that this is something that's being addressed. You feel it isn't being addressed; it is being ignored.
Well, I don't know if it's being ignored, but I'm sure some folks are probably they're probably concerned with lawsuits on this because a lot of property was damaged and a lot of people, their vehicles have been damaged, and they got to be a little bit concerned about that. So I'm sure they're being very careful of what they say and what they do, but we really do have to address it. We are going to ask the question about the slots or the whatever you want to call them, a weep hole. It's a lot bigger than a weep hole. Obviously, they're going to have to put in that wall.
Yeah, otherwise it's just going to flood with a little stream coming out of it.
Exactly.
So, Jim, let me ask you, when you talk about the residents' concerns in West Utica, I know they've gone on for a while. When we get a storm like this or a heavy, people, their basements flood or the water backs up on the road? What are specifically?
Oh, no, their basements are flooded. We went over to, after we were done with the arterial, we walked through the neighborhood and actually Jeanette's Diner, again, was completely flooded. She just invested thousands and thousands of dollars and finally she was getting ready to open up the diner again, and then this hit her again. So now she lost everything once again.
Boy.
Is it not from sewer, Jim, though?
Third or fourth time.
Jim, is it not from sewer backup instead of the arterial? I mean, the arterial actually in some way acted as a dam to some parts of West Utica, wouldn't you think?
But it dammed it up back into the neighborhood. So if the drainage system is not working correctly, and at least if that water was spread out a little bit more, because the other side was fine. The water just sheeted off of the arterial, and it must have went down into other drainage ditches and drainage ways. But
I want to take Lou here. I'll let you go, Jim. Thanks for the time. I appreciate the call.
Okay.
Lou Poccia is also running for the Common Council, also Republican, also was at that press conference yesterday. And Lou, your take is pretty much the same as what Jim is saying. That what do you want to accomplish? What are you looking to accomplish by holding this public demonstration last night?
You're talking to me now? I can't. I got the.
It's you, Lou. Yep.
Well, what I want to accomplish, I want to bring attention to the issue. The situation is far worse than it was before this new arterial project. I mean, the flooding was not just on Court Street and Lincoln Ave. It was tremendous flooding on Bleecker Street. That's the whole Nail Creek area, and this is something that's been going on for a long time. I mean, I actually saw water shooting out of the sewers on Bleecker Street several feet in the air. Mm-hmm. This is the problem, and I really want to bring more attention to that problem.
But I will say, though, that there's got to be something to be said for the fact that we had such a huge snowstorm in, was it March? Was it April? It was April, I guess.
Yeah. Whenever
that storm was, but just a few months ago. And, I mean, and now we've come back with a huge rainstorm. It's really quite amazing that we're getting these types of storms. But 7 inches of rain over a 24-hour period, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, but that's the whole point. The key to proper engineering is to plan for these extreme storms. We're getting these extreme storms over and over again. They're not doing that. I mean, that's what happened in the case of New Orleans. They built the levees to accommodate a certain type of storm, and they didn't consider the possibility of larger storms.
Right.
That's the point. You have to plan for the extreme event because the issue that will happen, the results are very, very extreme.
And Lou, you're running for Common Council as well?
Common Council, First Ward.
Okay.
And that area is in my ward.
All right. Listen, we appreciate you taking the time to pipe in here this morning.
Thank you.
All right. Lou Poccia. It's going to be if you're in Utica, there's going to be a lot of races. The Common Council is up here in November.
A lot of visitors on your porch.
A lot of visitors
wanting to explain their positions on things.
You'll be getting a lot of those little. If you're trying to save some paper to start some campfires, you'll be able to do it with all the palm cards.